Good evening, ma'am. These are the questions about all about the Republic Act 7836. So, first question is, what are the purposes of RA 7836? The first purpose is to strengthen the regulation and supervision of the practice of teaching in the Philippines. The second purpose is a prescribing a licensure examination for teachers and for other purposes. So what is the term used for RA 7036? The term used was the Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act of 1994. So what are the two objectives of RA 7036 as stated in Article 1 in Section 3? So the first objective was the promotion, development, and professionalization of teachers and the teaching profession. The second objective was the supervision and regulation of licensure examination. So, what is the primary concept, a primary concern of teaching as defined in the definition of terms? Profession concern primarily with classroom instructions at the elementary and secondary levels is accordance with the curriculum prescribed by the Department of Education. Culture and sports, part-time or full-time basis in the private or public schools. So, who are considered as teachers under RA 7836? All persons engaged in teaching at the elementary and secondary levels are considered as teachers under RA 76. It is full-time or part-time basis. It also includes the industrial arts or vocational teachers or other persons performing supervisory and or administrative functions in all schools and in the said levels and qualified to practice teaching under this act. Are college instructors considered as teachers under RA 7836? Why? Yes, college instructor is one of the people considered or one of the teachers considered RA 7836 because teachers, college instructor is the one who paid to teach and who represent the best profession and sets the highest standard for best practice. So what are the 5 duties and functional of the board? So first duties and functions of the board is to promulgate, administer, and and enforce rules and regulations. Determine and fix the frequency, dates, and places of examination. Appoint supervisors, proctors, and other personnel as needed who shall be entitled to the daily allowance to be fixed by the board for every examination they actually attended, used buildings and facilities of public or private schools for examination purposes. Issue, suspend, or revoke the certificate of registration for the practice of the teaching profession, and prescribe and collect examination and other fees as it may deem proper. The last rules is to prescribe or adopt a code or ethical the profession's standards for the practice of the teaching profession. Such ethical standards, rules, and regulations to take effect 60 days after its publication in the Office Gazette or in any newspaper or general circulations. So, all applicants are for registration as professional teachers shall be required for what type of exam? So, all applicants for registration as professional teachers shall be required undergo a written examination which shall be given at least once a year in such places and dates as the board may determine upon approval by the commission. A valid certification, registration of a valid profession license from the commission are required before any is allowed to practice as a professional teachers in the Philippines, except otherwise allowed under this act. Number 9 is under the scope examination. Why it is necessary to separate the examination for elementary and secondary school teachers? So the examination of the elementary and secondary school teachers shall be separated because elementary level shall consist two parts: the professional education, and general education. While the secondary level consists of three parts: professional education, general education, and the field of specialization. Number 10 question is, what are the 5 offenses committed by a licensed teacher to be exempted from the registration under section 23? So the board shall have the power to suspend or revoke the certification of registration of any registrant. So to reprimand or to cancel the temporary or special permit of a holder thereof who is exempt from registration for any of other following. So the first uh, the f- the first one is the conviction for any criminal offense by a court or competent jurisdiction. The immoral, unprofessional, and dishonorable conduct, and declaration by a court of competent jurisdiction for being mentally unsound or insane. Malpractice, gross incompetence, gross negligence, or serious ignorance of the practice of the teaching profession. The use or perpetration of any fraud or deceit in obtaining a certificate of the registration, provisional license, or special temporary permit. So those are uh, all about the Republic Act 7836.